Hey guys, how you doing today? David Lucas back here again. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be reviewing, finally, in the final review for my Star Wars original series review, is Star Wars: The Return of the Jedi. This is the final Star Wars episode in the original series, and this is, some people say this is actually the best Star Wars movie. Some people will say that. And other people don't really like this one. I fall into the group of people that I kind of like it. I'm gonna admit it, I kind of like it. I don't love Return of the Jedi. It's definitely the final act, I think, is magnificent, and I'm gonna get into that. There are good things about it, though. There are things that I do enjoy about it, things that I have redeemable qualities, I think, from it. But at the end of the day, it's probably my least favorite of the original saga, but it's still a good movie. It's still good. It's just not the best out of the original saga, in my opinion. And before I get into my review of this movie, I gotta say that I think part of the reason why I kind of don't love this movie, and maybe speaking for other people too, maybe why they don't like the movie, because there is a group of people that don't really like this movie, and I think the reason why is because we left off at somewhere where Empire Strikes Back did. It was a big ending to Empire Strikes Back, a big cliffhanger, and in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie ever made, and there was a lot leading up to that. And I remember as a kid, when I first seen Return of the Jedi, I was kind of a little brought back by it. I was kind of like, oh, okay, oh, that's the ending we're going to get after what we just got with Empire Strikes Back. It's still a good ending, I think, and I think a good close to the original saga. But still, there's things in there that I would have done differently, that I would have think that could have been better and could have maybe made the film altogether a better film. And there's some stuff in there that I don't really just like. But that being said, there are things in there that are great. There are some stuff in there, maybe all-time best Star Wars scenes ever. Now, starting out with the bad things about this movie, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I don't like that whole scene, the whole Jabba scene. I like some of it. There is some of the Jabba scene that I think is done good. I feel that the Jabba scene is just really long. It's way too long. It could have been cut down a little bit. Some scenes could have been taken out from it. Like, I didn't really enjoy that whole beginning part of it where you see all the music going around and hearing all that music playing and seeing all those weird CGI dancers dancing around. I thought it was just didn't fit into the movie at all. It didn't really fit into nothing with the story. It had no reason to be in there. It just took up a lot of time, I felt. Didn't really like how we were following C-3PO and R2-D2 for a while in there. Now, it's good. It's good that we start out with them and them going into the palace because they're on a mission for Luke and all that. I think that's good. But I think that we just are following them way too long in there. It gets to the point to where you just want to fast forward and be like, alright, we get the point. Let's just move on to what's coming up next. Let's move on to Luke coming in and everything. And that's another thing where I think that it fails at, is that I feel like that whole scene with Leia coming in with the thermal detonator and with Chewbacca coming with her, I thought all that was just really unnecessary and really out of character for Leia to do. I thought it didn't really seem like Leia that she would put herself in that kind of situation. And I felt like Luke could have just been there in the beginning, and Leia didn't even need to come. They didn't need to bring Chewbacca with them. Lando was already implanted in Jabba's palace, so leave Lando there. Just have Luke come in right off the bat, instead of Luke sending in this message about giving Jabba a chance that he will give Jabba these droids. And it just didn't make sense. I thought it was out of character for all the characters, actually, for Luke and for Leia. It just didn't seem right. It made more sense just to have Luke come in, tell Jabba straight up, because Luke is this badass Jedi, and we see that when Luke first appears into the Jabba's palace. We see that he's a badass Jedi already. He's using mind manipulation on Jabba's servants. He's force choking some of the guards as he walks in. So we know right off the bat that Luke is not your average Jedi. He will do what it takes to win. But when he gets to Jabba, he doesn't. He just talks to Jabba and tries to make a deal with Jabba for no particular reason at all, instead of just showing Jabba who's boss and getting Han back. I felt like all Luke had to do was walk in there as a badass Jedi as he is, grab his lightsaber from R2-D2. That's another thing. Why was R2-D2 holding his lightsaber? It's almost like Luke had planned for everything that transpired as it did. To get caught, to fight that monster, to almost get eaten by a monster. It just felt like it all was just planned out by Luke, and not like it was a actual strategic thing that they were doing. It's not like it actually was the character being the character. It felt like it was just written out that way and just planned out way from the script, because that's the way the script wanted it. And I didn't like that. Like I said, it could have just been so much simpler, so much easier. Luke gets his lightsaber out, show Jabba who's boss. They all go, Lando, Leia, and Chewie all break in. They grab Han, grab the droids, and get the hell out of there. And it could have been done that much simpler and that much shorter. But no, it just drags out to just makes you just want to fast forward through it all, because there's just no point, and there's so much stuff in there and so much dialogue that just doesn't make sense to the overall story. And that's my long rant about what I would have done about that. Also, too, with this, there's a deleted scene of Luke creating his lightsaber. Now, I think that scene would have been a much better scene than seeing the dancers dance around in Jabba's palace and hearing all that dumb music play. I thought that would have been such a better scene to put in there, showing Luke creating his lightsaber. That would have been so good, so awesome. The first time anyone's ever seen it in a Star Wars movie at the time. And it would have been great. And they should have kept that scene in there instead of taking it out. Really didn't like how the way Han was portrayed in this film. And that it really sucks. Is the way how he was portrayed in Empire, I thought was just so good. That was a perfect Han Solo, the way how he's written and portrayed him there. And in this one, I feel like Harrison Ford basically just phones in the role. He's not written really good. And maybe that's why Harrison Ford just phoned in the role, because he seemed like this wasn't written good. Because really, Han Solo to me in this film, he seems like a bumbling joke almost. He's just constantly throwing jokes. He's constantly being goofy. He's not a badass scoundrel in this one. He's more taking a back seat and just being a joke, basically. He's just basically throwing out puns. And he's screwing up when they're on Andor. He's getting caught. They're getting caught by stormtroopers because of him. He's just a total joke in this. It just wasn't the same Han that we knew from A New Hope and Empire to me. It just didn't feel like it. He just was written different, and Harrison Ford just phoned in the roles, what it seemed like. And I know this has been talked to death, but I gotta say, what is up with Boba Fett dying so early? Like, he hardly even had a role in it, and then he just dies quickly. Like, he could have just been in the beginning, and then walks off, and then goes away, and we don't see him again until maybe the very ending of it, or we just don't see him again, and then have some spin-offs with him or something like that. And instead of killing him off the most dumbest way possible, he gets a jetpack broken, and he goes flying. You can hear him screaming like an idiot as he's flying, hits something, hits a wall, and then falls and rolls all over and gets eaten. And he gets eaten, and it's so dumb. I know it's been talked so many times, a lot of other reviewers have talked about it, but I just gotta throw it in there that I just hate that so much. And now one of my last things that I just didn't really sit well with me in this review that I didn't think was really good was how Lando and Han made up so quickly. In the last episode, they were basically at odds with each other. Lando betrayed Han. Lando had Han frozen in carbonite and almost had his friends taken from the Empire. And then we get to this one, And they're all just buddy-buddy again. They're like best friends, hugging each other, making jokes with each other again. Han's making jokes, and it just doesn't seem like Han. And they're making jokes with each other. It just doesn't feel like that's how they would be after what just happened in Empire. You would feel like there would be tension between them throughout the movie. You feel like there'd be more of them not with each other throughout the movie. More Lando trying to show Han, like, hey, dude, come on, you can trust me. But Han just not really buying into Lando after what Lando did. Han would not have trusted Lando that quickly. He even gives Lando the Millennium Falcon to use. Why would he do that? Why does he trust Lando that well after what Lando just did to him? See, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. And I feel like it was lazy writing and just really quick put together. And I don't like that. I didn't like it at all. One more thing I gotta add to is that I felt that, I don't know if other people agree with this or think this way, but this is something I've always thought, that the ending to Andor, the ending final battle to Andor, was very anticlimactic. For it to be the final battle in this trilogy, the final hurrah in this trilogy, I think the battle was really anticlimactic. It wasn't as intense that you would want it to be. It didn't have as much stakes, I thought. There was no stakes at all. Literally no one died at that battle of Andor except for the Emperor and Darth Vader, and those were the two villains. Other than that, none of our heroes die, none of our heroes get hurt. Everyone walks away happy, and maybe some people like that. Maybe some people like that happy ending feel. To me, you could have put that happy ending feel, but still had something where at the ending, they lost something. They lost something. And yes, everyone's happy. Yes, everyone's, grateful that they won. But there's still that one loss of the crew that we've been following throughout the whole time. I still feel someone should have died. Possibly Han. I feel like Han's death probably would have been the best. And I felt like that was kind of a downer side to the final act of this film, where I just didn't feel it was as fulfilled. That it just wasn't as earned that it should have been. Now on to my good things about this film, which I am more excited to talk about, because talking about the bad things about film isn't really that good. You like talk about the good things. You want to see a good film and get to talk about the good things about it. So that's what we're going to do now. Beginning of this movie with Darth Vader's entrance with the shuttle, having all the Imperial officers on the new Death Star, I think it is on. Yeah, it was on the new Death Star with all the Imperial officers standing there waiting for him. Him marching down there all shiny. He's very shiny in this one, I realize. He's like extremely polished and shiny, and I love it. One of the scenes that I love in here, this part, is that when Vader tells the officer, the Imperial officer, that the Emperor's coming and that he's not as forgiving as he is. And the officer basically just shits his pants right there. I always thought that was actually kind of funny, because I always think after it's like, you're forgiving? You just killed your own officers just a movie ago because they messed up. And you're forgiving? It makes me afraid of what the Emperor's going to do if he's less forgiving than Vader, when Vader's not even forgiving in the first place. I always love that. The Emperor's entrance even tops that, I feel like. The Emperor's entrance, you got the Red Royal Guard standing there. You have all the stormtroopers and officers, all of them just standing there to salute to the Emperor. And you finally see the first time the Emperor walking down with all of his cloak on, his Imperial advisors behind him, Darth Vader kneeling right there before him. It's just an awesome shot, I feel like, with the music playing in the background. It's just a beautiful, awesome shot. And just brilliant, I thought. And as you see Vader and the Emperor walking, talking about Luke, and I thought it was so great. And just hearing the Emperor talk is just creepy. Even McDermott's performance as the Emperor is just beautiful. I don't think anyone could ever play the Emperor as good as he was. I don't think anyone could play the Emperor as good as he does. He just is the Emperor, and you can see that he just has fun in this role. He loves it. He likes being all evil and looking all ugly. He even says it in interviews, I think, that he likes doing all that stuff. He's a theater actor, so he already has an amazing acting career behind him. He already is an amazing actor, and he's just, his voice, the facial expressions he makes as the Emperor, it's just beautiful. And the Emperor actually has came down to be one of my all-time favorite characters in Star Wars, period. With all the books and the extra TV shows and stuff, he's really became some of my favorite characters. And I love the Emperor. I just love him. I love Ian McDiarmid's performance as him, and I'm happy that he comes back to do voices for him in the animated shows, which is awesome. Return of Yoda in this movie is some of the best things. I just love Yoda coming back. I love him. Always Frank Oz playing Yoda with that voice and the amazing puppetry. I'm still blown away. To this day, I'm blown away that Yoda is just a puppet. He looks so much more real than probably any CGI that we even have nowadays. I just love Yoda. I love Frank Oz's performance as Yoda. And that's when Yoda dies, is honestly one of the most heart-crunching scenes I've ever seen. Like, as a kid watching it, even now to this day watching that scene when Yoda dies, it just, it gets you in a feeling. It's like, that's Grandmaster Yoda going. Does anyone else ever feel that way? They just feel really emotional at that scene. Because, like, damn, that is the Grandmaster Yoda himself passing away. But he passes away so peacefully and so calm and great. And I think it's done so good. And it's so perfectly when he tells, his last words is that he tells Luke there is another Skywalker. And tells him he must confront Vader because that will be the only way he can become a true Jedi. And the thing that I love about that is he never says to kill Vader. And Luke is always saying, I can't kill Vader, I can't kill my father. But I don't think Yoda ever says in there, you have to kill Vader. He tells him you have to confront him, you have to face him, and you have to take out his Emperor. It just was a beautiful scene and really gets me in the gut. And right after the scene, we get another great scene where Kenobi explains to Luke about his whole family and his father and all that stuff coming to fruition, coming all in one circle. Like how he told him from before, it was all just a point of view of what he used to tell him back in A New Hope. And now this is the truth about Anakin, and I just love that whole sequence. I think it's just probably some of the best out of any Star Wars movie, period. No, this one's a very unpopular opinion, but I love the Ewoks. I think the Ewoks are awesome. I never seen the problem with the Ewoks. People always complain about the Ewoks, say they hate them, they're all... I'm like, wow, how can you hate the Ewoks? They are not evil, but they are a crazy... creatures that are freaking almost burned Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Luke Skywalker alive and almost feasted on them. Does anyone ever realize that? That they literally almost feasted on them and burned them alive. These are crazy creatures. They're also, they're goofy. I like their comedy. I like the little comedy they brought on them. I thought they were done really good and really cute creatures, and I never understood why people don't like them. Yeah, it does seem a little weird that that's how the Empire gets overthrown, and I understand that. I understand that point of view, that that's kind of dumb how that's how the Empire gets thrown. But if you think about it, these are some crazy, crazy creatures, and if you think about it, too, in real life history, a lot of empires and a lot of big dictatorships were overthrown by the smallest people who you would not expect that would win. And I love that. I kind of really like that a lot, that they did that. And I like that the Ewoks were the people that destroyed, not the people, but the people that destroyed the Empire, or started the spark to destroy the Empire. I always thought that was a really good scene too, where C-3PO was explaining to the Ewoks when he was telling them a story about basically all of the two or three movies that just been going on. I really liked that. I thought that was a nice little scene to have in there. And some people don't like that too, but I think that was a nice little add-on scene where he's explaining the stories of everything that's going on. I liked it a lot. I'm doing the Darth Vader voice. I thought that was awesome. That was a nice little add-on to the movie. On this movie, we finally get the final battle between Darth Vader, Luke, and the Emperor. We finally get that at the ending of this, and I gotta say, that whole throne room scene is probably top 2 best scenes in any Star Wars film, and up there in top 5 scenes are probably best in any film. That throne room scene is just purely beautiful, in my opinion. It's just beautiful. The dialogue, the build-up, and then the final clash between good and evil. It was just so well done. You have the Emperor in the background laughing, and cheering on Luke and Vader fighting because he wants them to fight. He wants Luke to replace Vader. Or if Luke dies by Vader, then that's no loss to him. Then just kill him off and he'll probably find someone else to replace Vader someday. I really love that. I love that he's just in the background while they're fighting. It's just really good to me. And I really thought that almost final scene in the throne room where Luke is hiding and Vader tells Luke that, oh, so you have a sister. And Vader finds out that he has a twin sister and a daughter. And Luke just lashes out and says, no, and then just starts going after him. I thought it was so good, and you see the full strength of Luke. You see Luke at his full power, just hitting Vader, and Vader's almost on the ground just like this, and Luke is still hitting him until he chops Vader's hand off. And I love that. He chops his hand off, and you see Vader sit down and kind of like look at him like, no, please, don't kill me. And Vader and Emperor's laughing, telling Luke to do it. And then Luke looks at Vader's hand and sees that he has a robot hand just like him. And he sees that he is slowly becoming just like Vader. And in that moment, Luke throws his lightsaber and says, no, I am a Jedi, like my father before me. And oh, that scene is so great. It is some of the most iconic scenes in history. It is so beautifully done, and it is so perfect. And it sucks that it's in not really the best Star Wars movie, but it's still a great scene. And just that whole lead up was just done so great and so well done that it just ended up ending. I thought that was the perfect ending to it. And I love that we see Luke burning Vader's body at the very end, and that Vader finally becomes Anakin. He kills the Emperor. He takes off his mask. He can see his son for one last time. And it's really a heartfelt scene to see it all to come together. From watching from episode 1 from the prequels, seeing little Anakin, and going all the way up to Return of the Jedi, and seeing him fulfill his destiny. And I think at the end of the day, that's what makes Star Wars great. And whether you like the prequels or not, I feel like you have to give the prequels credit that when you watch them all throughout together, when you go side by side all movies together, they tell you a pretty good story. And it does fit pretty well into the overall Star Wars story. Rather, I do have my opinions on how the prequels were made, but that being said, as stories, they lead up to Return of the Jedi so perfectly, and it gives it such a good payoff. And even though I didn't really thought that the payoff at the end with the battle, with the Empire being destroyed, was really paid off, I thought the overall story arc for the Skywalkers was paid off so beautifully at the end. And I can't wait now to go into Force Awakens again. I haven't watched that in a while. I can't wait to get back on that. And then to The Last Jedi. Can't wait to revisit a review on The Last Jedi. That's going to be really interesting. Now my final scoring for this film, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I'm going to give it probably a little more than what I would have given it before I watched it again. But I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. It is a really solid 8 out of 10 movie. I probably before would have put it at 7.5, but I'm going to put it at a solid 8 out of 10. I think this is a really good film we're watching again. It does have its problems, but it's not my favorite Star Wars film and probably my least favorite out of the original saga. But it's still a decent film. It's still a good ending. And I think that it's really worth watching if you haven't seen it. So thank you guys for watching my reviews again. Stay tuned for more reviews coming up. And while you're at that, subscribe. And while you're subscribing, go check out all my other videos. I think you will find them really enjoyable if you enjoyed this one. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.